Welcome back to the channel. My name is Nick. This channel is Watchlist Roulette, a channel dedicated to cinema and the discussion of cinema. And today is a little bit of a different video than I'm used to. I decided to film a mishmash of B-roll of me moseying around, going to some of my favorite shops that specialize in physical media. There's all different types of places, bookstores, record stores, even took a stop by one of the flagship video stores here in Toronto, and I've just crammed together a nice little montage for you, set to some nice ambient music of me just, you know, going on the hunt, seeing what I can find across all different mediums, film, music, books. Yeah, what the hell, let's go on a little trip down physical media lane and see what we find. We're back in the humble abode. I would say it was pretty productive. There was, again, I showed you some of the shops I went to, and I'm going to show you what I got and where I got them. We got 4 films, a book, and a new vinyl record. So where are we going to start? We're going to start, this is the only DVD I bought, and I never buy DVDs. Again, at this point in life, I strictly buy Blu-ray. I've been slowly upgrading to 4K. Not really upgrading films I already own, but transitioning into 4K. Whatever I can get in 4K, I will, but the days of me buying DVDs are like long gone. But when it's a film that I don't come across often and it's not streaming anywhere and you find it for like pocket change, it's like, okay, what the hell, I'll take a stab at it. So I'm a big Alexander Payne fan. I've talked on this channel about my love for films like The Holdovers, Sideways. I just rewatched The Descendants, which I think is great. Election, fucking great. Again, Alexander Payne, I could probably say, is one of my favorite filmmakers, but this is a film I've never seen. And I can't talk a whole lot about it, but it's a missing link in seeing all of his films, so what the hell, it's about Schmidt. Yep, Jack Nicholson driven Alexander Payne film. Kathy Bates. A lot of this film kind of seems to come from the same, I just feel like it's going to be cut from the same cloth as other Alexander Payne films, you know, middle class characters in America. Comedy, dramedy, melodrama, his signature brand of comedy, but dramatic elements. I'm sure I'm gonna really like it. I've never been disappointed by an Alexander Payne film. So as you can imagine, or as you can guess, I haven't seen Downsizing, which I've heard absolute shite things about, but maybe one day I'll do it. Maybe one day I'll do it. If it's as bad as people say it is, then whatever. But no, but I am looking forward to it. I've been meaning to see it for a while, and again, where I am, I don't know about where you are, but where I am, I can't stream it anywhere. You gotta rent it, you gotta buy it digitally, and you know what, for a couple dollars, fuck it. The other film that I picked is one that's been on my watch list for a while. One I've wanted to see for a really long time. One of my favorite actors, Dusty Hoffman. I'm not sure if anybody called him Dusty, but I'm doing it now. What are you gonna do about it, brother? Film I've never seen, won Best Picture from 1979, I believe, and that is Kramer versus Kramer. Again, never seen it, heard a lot of great things about it. I remember around the time Marriage Story by Noah Baumbach came out, which is a film I love. It drew a lot of comparisons to Kramer versus Kramer, and I'm a big Dustin Hoffman fan. I've always heard great things about it. Love me a sad, broken household divorce film. So what are you gonna say about that? But I mean, it cleaned up at the Oscars. I'm looking at it right now. Winner of 5 Academy Awards, Best Picture, Best Actor for our boy Dusty H. Best Supporting Actress, Meryl Streep. Best Director, Robert Benton. Best Adapted Screenplay. So this was a critical darling when it came out. And it's one I've wanted to watch for a long time. And again, where I am, not a whole lot of availability in terms of streaming. Sometimes when it comes to films I've never seen, which at this point, most of what I purchase for my collection are films I've seen and films that are favorites of mine and films I know I'm gonna watch again and again. And so over the years, I've become a bit more selective. I think if you are a collector of physical media, you know that feeling when you really tighten up and focus on the films that you know you love. But every once in a while at the right price range and you come across something you've wanted to see for a long time and availability is slim streaming wise, you just go for it. And I don't think I'm gonna regret this. I think I'm gonna really, really dig it. So Kramer versus Kramer, nothing to do with the Seinfeld character. Yeah, buddy. All right, we're gonna get into the 2 films that I have seen. I made a top 10 favorite films of 2023 video. If you haven't seen that, check it out. In that video, I talked about this film, one of my favorites for the year. I saw it in the summertime and it stuck around all the way till the end of the year. Now a Best Picture nominee, Past Lives. This is one that I've been like aching to watch again. Like I've been dying to watch it again. One of my favorite films of the year. I've talked a bunch about it in that top 10 video. So I'm not gonna go on a whole rant about the things I love about this film, but if you wanna hear me talk about it, definitely check out my top 10 video of 2023. Fantastic directorial debut. So many good things to say about it, but we'll be here forever. And this was a film that I picked up at Sunrise Records. I've been looking for this film for a long time. It went out of print from the Criterion Collection. I was pretty bummed when it did because I was looking to buy it around that time and then it just vanished off the marketplace. Scalpers asking for stupid amounts of money that is never worth paying. I was hoping that I would get another proper Blu-ray release, and I found this one, which I believe is pretty recent. I can never really find this one cheap, but I found it at a price point I was happy with, and that is Hal Ashby's Harold and Maude. Again, when this went out of print from Criterion, I was really fucking bummed because it was like right around that time, it was that and Rosemary's Baby and a few other films, like a bombshell of films got dropped from Criterion, and right around that time, I fell in love with Rosemary's Baby and Harold and Maude, and they both went off the market, and I was just like, fuck, man, I missed the boat, and you never know when things are gonna go out of print, but finally found a copy for my own personal collection. I think about this film all the time. I rewatched The Last Detail by Hal Ashby, which I absolutely love. I got a lot of Hal Ashby vibes from The Holdovers recently. Maybe it's the Cat Stevens, I don't know, but another film I could talk about for days, and maybe at some point I'll make a video telling you more about why I love this film, but a great, great kind of unorthodox, cynical, but uplifting, bittersweet film of friendship and yeah, and Cat Stevens, just a shitload of Cat Stevens. So if you're into Yusuf, if you've never seen this film, just stop what you're doing and check it out. It's just fucking great. The next thing I'm going to talk about is a book. I was listening to an interview on like a podcast with Mark Borchardt, who you might recognize that name. He is like the face of the documentary American Movie. American Movie is a film I love. Mark, as unorthodox and as unhinged in his passion for cinema and his determination, he is like an odd fucking guy when you see him in American Movie. You might find him very funny in a way where you don't really know if you're laughing with him or laughing at him, but he's a guy that I genuinely am tremendously inspired by. I think the guy is fucking brilliant. I think he's a lot smarter than some people maybe give him credit for. I think the guy is just this like fountain of like creativity and passion for film. And I always try to seek out videos where he's, you know, in an interview or in a conversation, because I just love to hear him talk about anything. And so there was an interview with a podcast. The interviewer asked him about books about film. And if you want to be a screenplay, if you want to be a screenwriter, if you want to be a director, what is some essential reading for somebody if you had to, recommend them books? And he named a few books, and the interviewer brought up this book, and Mark Borchardt kind of just glazed over it, kind of like, well, yeah, that goes without saying. Like, he talked about this book that I'm going to talk about in a way where it's like, well, yeah, like, of course you would read that book. And so I was very interested as to why he would react that way to it, and how it was almost a given that it was an essential to read if you wanted to make films. This book is by William Goldman, who is a novelist, but also a screenwriter, responsible for the likes of Marathon Man, I believe Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. And this is a book that he wrote in the 80s called Adventures in the Screen Trade. I think it was early 80s in the beginning of this book, he says he started writing it. And I don't know how much of the book focuses on screenwriting and the process of making a film and how to go about that. But from the first 20 pages that I've read, because I just started this when I got home, a lot of it deals with the inside track of Hollywood and experiencing that world firsthand and his experiences with it. A creative type battling the business side of Hollywood or navigating that part of Hollywood. And so far it's been a super interesting read. He has a lot of insightful comments on how the studios work and bringing his writing to life and having them converted into film. And again, it's like a 400-page book, so I'm sure he's going to talk about many different facets of that career and that lifestyle. But so far, super interesting, super insightful, very much a book of inside information from somebody who was in the know in that industry at one point. I think it was like $4. Like, this is a fucking pretty nice thick novel and chock full of good old Hollywood insider business. So for $4, dude, come on. $4 for any book, as long as it's not, I don't know, the Da Vinci Code. And last but not least, I got this at Dead Dog Records, which was one of the first places I stopped at. And this is a much anticipated record from a band that I am a huge fan of. You might know the members of this band as being the nucleus of Radiohead. I am a massive Radiohead fan, so it's no surprise that I would be a fan of their side project, The Smile. And this is Wall of Eyes. This is their new record, just came out not too long ago. Really, we've only had it for about a week. We're probably going on 2, and I've been listening to it pretty much non-stop. And I have the first record on vinyl, and I kind of, again, when you find it for the right price point, vinyl's so expensive now. Like, it's so expensive to the point where it's hard to justify. Like, I never have an issue justifying buying films on physical media, but vinyl is really becoming a tough pill to swallow in terms of the cost. You get to the point where you're like, I'll never own all my favorite records on vinyl. That's just the way it's gonna be. It would take a fucking shit ton of money to own every record you love, at least for me. And so I'm pretty picky with what I get. But I've been loving this new record by The Smile, Wall of Eyes. Their first record, A Light for Attracting Attention, was a record that I loved. It's tough to compare the two. They've definitely, the thing with Radiohead and anything that Thom Yorke and Johnny Green would do, they evolve from record to record. Through Radiohead's career, it has always been that way, and with The Smile, it's no different. The first record and Wall of Eyes, honestly, they don't share a whole lot in common in terms of their sound. There are moments where maybe that's the case, but they've really departed from the sound of the first record, and it's hard to determine or pinpoint what that sound is. It is often an alternative indie rock of early Radiohead, almost back to grassroots, but then you've got Tom Skinner's jazz-influenced drumming being the backbeat of it, and it's just its own thing. And this record is a lot of the same. Again, nothing but experimenting from the boys Tommy Yorke and good old Johnny Greenwood. And Tom Skinner is a phenomenal drummer, originally from Sons of Kemet. I believe they're a jazz band, but he is a phenomenal drummer. As somebody who is, I'm a drummer myself. I'm not saying that makes me an authority, but as someone who pays more attention to detail than usual for drumming, the element that Tom Skinner brings to The Smile and the Radiohead sound of this band is seriously a special thing that I think a lot of people don't give him enough credit. So yeah, fantastic record. I still don't know which one I prefer, their first or this sophomore record, but they're both incredible. A lot of my favorite tracks on this record, really all of them. I just adore I just love every track on the record, but the title track is great. Read the Room, I think, is brilliant. Bending Hectic, when it came out as a single last year, I want to say, blew my mind. There's a lot of, like, really everything. Under Our Pillows and Teleharmonic. Like, they're just so consistent and so, like, dialed in and pushing the envelope and innovating their sound. Tom and Johnny have been doing that for so long, and there's nothing new here with Wall of Eyes. Great fucking record. Super glad to own it. And just spin it whenever I want to go into a funky little trance. That's what Radiohead's music does to me. So, or it just makes you clinically depressed like fucking Van Gogh and you want to cut your ear off. That's the way being a Radiohead fan works. So, yeah, that's everything I picked up from a collection of physical media shops around the city. Hope you liked this video. If you're not subscribed here, you can obviously join the club. I do a series called Watch List Roulette, where I watch different films on my Letterboxd watch list at random. They're generated for me, so I don't pick them. I just kind of go into them blind, discuss those films, shoot the shit, talk about what I'm watching, and it's a lot of fun. I love doing it, and if that sounds like something you'd be into, hop on board. Criterion Collection videos, just all discussion of film. Anyways, that's it for this video. More good shit to come. Stick around for that. I'll see you later.